You want power? Then listen carefully. The world is chaos. Every man out there is chasing control, clawing at smoke, trying to bend forces that laugh at him. But not you, not anymore. You've been blind, shackled by illusions, believing that control was out there, when in truth, it has always been in here, in your mind, in your choices. Machiavelli whispered centuries ago, "Fortune favors the cold, the calculating, the untouchable, while others waste their breath wrestling storms. The true strategist sharpens himself into steel, and steel bends for no man." This is not about hope. This is not about faith. This is about becoming untouchable, about severing the ties that make you weak, attachments, expectations, desperate claws clutching for validation. None of that belongs to you. And once you see this truth, once you detach from everything beyond your grip, you'll rise into a realm where no one can wound you. Stay with me, because by the end of this monologue, you will carry a weapon sharper than any blade, the ability to stand alone, unshaken, unbroken. Comment this now. Cold mind, unbreakable will. This is the Machiavellian mind. Number 1. The illusion of control. You have been lied to since the beginning. Taught that life bends to effort, that people will reward loyalty, that order comes from faith in systems. But the brutal truth is this: most of what surrounds you is chaos beyond your command. The weather, the economy, the betrayals of so-called friends, the lies of leaders, the whispers of enemies, all of it operates outside your influence. And yet men waste their strength raging against what they cannot steer, like sailors punching waves. This is weakness. This is slavery. The Machiavellian mind sees it for what it is, a trap designed to bleed your energy dry. If you cannot dictate an outcome, you owe it no emotion. If you cannot command a situation, you owe it no fear. The lion doesn't argue with the storm. It simply waits, still, unbothered, conserving its hunger for when the prey appears. You must become that lion. Detachment is not surrender, it is superiority. When you detach, you strip life of its power to wound you. You stop expecting fairness. You stop expecting loyalty. You stop expecting the world to bend for you, and suddenly you are untouchable. You see, the masses are predictable. They cling, they beg, they break when control slips through their fingers. But you will be different. You will stand calm while they tremble. You will not curse the storm. You will use it. And that is how power is born. From mastery of the self, not mastery of the uncontrollable. Understand this deeply. Control is an illusion, but choice is not. Your choice is to detach, to sever the grip of weakness, and to rise above the desperate masses. Comment this now. I command myself, and nothing commands me. Number 2. The cold liberation of detachment. Detachment is not emptiness. It is liberation. When you stop clinging to illusions, you discover a brutal freedom that few men ever taste. Most people live chained to outcomes, suffocating under the weight of what if. They attach themselves to relationships, to jobs, to reputations, to the approval of strangers, and then shatter when those fragile structures collapse. But the Machiavellian mind understands. Everything external is temporary, unstable, and dangerous to lean on. The man who ties his worth to the approval of others becomes their slave. The man who binds his happiness to circumstances becomes fortune's puppet. You will not be that man. Detachment cuts those chains. It makes you ungovernable. It teaches you that you are not owed loyalty, not owed fairness, not owed love, not owed anything. And when you finally accept this, nothing shocks you, nothing breaks you. You become harder, colder, sharper, like iron forged in fire. You can walk through betrayal with a steady gaze. You can face failure without crumbling. You can lose everything and still remain whole. That is the power of detachment. It strips the world of its fangs. When nothing external owns you, nothing can destroy you. That is why the strong are feared. They do not beg. They do not cling. They do not bend to emotion. They decide. They move. They conquer. And if fortune smiles, they use it. If fortune spits in their face, they endure it. Either way, they win. This is your transformation, from fragile to untouchable, from man to force. Let others drown in attachment. You will breathe in cold clarity. Comment this now. Nothing outside me holds power over me. Number 3, turning pain into power. Every man will face betrayal, loss, humiliation. These are not accidents, they are inevitabilities. Weak men crumble under them, drowning in self-pity, begging for the world to be fair. But fairness is a myth whispered to children. The Machiavellian knows pain is not the enemy. It is the raw material of strength. Every cut, every scar, every disappointment is fuel. When someone betrays you, the ordinary man cries, but you will smirk because you understand what it truly means. They have revealed themselves, and in their treachery, they have given you knowledge. Pain is information. Pain is clarity. Pain strips illusions faster than any philosophy. Do not resist it. Do not beg for it to vanish. Instead, absorb it, weaponize it, and let it carve you into something beyond ordinary. The masses think strength comes from comfort. They are wrong. True strength is forged in fire. You do not become steel by lying in silk sheets. You become steel by being burned, beaten and broken until you are unyielding. The Stoic and the Machiavellian align here. Accept pain, not as punishment, but as purification. When you detach from the need for comfort, from the fantasy of a life without suffering, you become untouchable. The man who does not fear loss cannot be controlled. The man who does not collapse under betrayal cannot be broken. And the man who does not resent pain cannot be manipulated. This is why your enemies will fail. They still cling to comfort, to attachment, to the illusion of control. You, however, will feed on their weakness. You will not whine. You will not collapse. You will not beg for relief. You will stare pain in the eye and say, "Break me if you can." That cold defiance, that unshakable will, is what terrifies the world. Because once you learn to transform pain into power, you step into a place few ever reach. A state where suffering becomes fuel, betrayal becomes strategy, and loss becomes freedom. This is the warrior's secret. This is the Machiavellian truth. Life owes you nothing, so you owe it nothing back. Detach, endure, and turn pain into your greatest ally. Comment this now. My pain is my power, and it serves me. Number 4, mastering the mask. Power is not just about what you feel inside, it is about what the world sees. The Machiavellian mind understands this. Men who show every wound, every fear, every flicker of doubt become prey. The predator hides his hunger until it is time to strike. The king hides his calculations behind calm indifference. To be untouchable, you must master the mask. The mask is not a lie, it is a weapon. It is the shield that conceals your emotions, the armor that keeps your enemies guessing, the mirror that reflects back only what you choose to reveal. Ordinary men live exposed, bleeding their feelings into every situation. They become predictable, easy to manipulate. But when you wear the mask, you control perception. No one can read you. No one can anticipate you. No one can use your emotions against you. This is why rulers survive. This is why predators dominate. Behind the mask, you can think coldly while others burn with anger. You can move strategically while they drown in panic. You can plan 10 steps ahead while they're trapped in impulse. But here's the deeper truth. The mask is not only for others, it is for you. When you practice restraint, when you teach yourself to hide your reactions, you begin to control them. Your emotions no longer own you, you own them. Your rage becomes a blade instead of a leash. Your fear becomes awareness instead of weakness. Your sorrow becomes fuel instead of chains. That is the cold alchemy of the mask. It transforms chaos into power. You must ask yourself, when the world looks at you, do they see a frantic man or do they see an unreadable force of nature? They must see the latter. They must believe nothing touches you, nothing bends you, nothing unsettles you. That belief alone gives you dominance because perception creates power. And when perception is under your control, so is the battlefield. Learn this. Your silence is more terrifying than their screaming, your calm more dangerous than their fury, your mask more powerful than their open hearts. Comment this now. My mask is my fortress, and none shall breach it. Number 5. The ruthless discipline of self-mastery. If detachment is the foundation, then discipline is the fortress. Without discipline, all your philosophy collapses into empty words, and you remain just another man who talks about power but never wields it. Self-mastery is the line that separates the rulers from the ruled, the predator from the prey, the strong from the weak. And it is not glamorous, it is not comfortable, it is ruthless. To master yourself, you must command your body, your mind, your habits, and your impulses with iron authority. Every craving, every distraction, every weakness must kneel before you. The masses indulge at the first hint of temptation. They scroll endlessly. They eat without restraint. They chase every fleeting pleasure. They call this freedom. It is not freedom. It is slavery to their own impulses. A Machiavellian mind understands that true freedom comes only when you no longer bow to desire. When you can tell your body to endure hunger, and it obeys. When you can tell your mind to focus, and it listens. When you can stand in chaos and remain still, because you have trained yourself to be unshakable. Discipline is your silent army. It is the unseen edge that destroys your rivals before the battle even begins. A man who wakes with purpose, who governs his time, who controls his energy. This man cannot be defeated because he has already defeated himself. Understand this. Every indulgence is a leash, every weakness a chain. Cut them, burn them. Refuse to let anything own you. Not food, not lust, not comfort, not approval. Self-mastery is cold because it requires sacrifice. You will sacrifice ease. You will sacrifice comfort. You will sacrifice the childish fantasy of effortless greatness. But what you gain in return is invincibility. Because once you master yourself, no one can master you. Think of the generals of history, the rulers who bent nations to their will. They were not soft. They rose early. They studied deeply. They trained ruthlessly. They lived by iron rules. They knew that discipline is what makes men into weapons. You too must become that weapon. Sharpened, hardened, beyond compromise. When others chase distraction, you must chase focus. When others drown in pleasure, you must find power in restraint. When others scatter in weakness, you must remain firm. Do this, and you will not need to chase control of the world, because the world itself bends to those who control themselves. You will not be touched, not by chaos, not by betrayal, not by fortune's cruelty. You will rise above the desperate herd, and you will look down on them with calm indifference, because you will know you are no longer a man of impulse. You are a man of power. Comment this now. I have mastered myself, and nothing can master me. Number 6. The calculated art of power. Power does not belong to the strongest, nor the loudest, nor the most emotional. It belongs to the most calculating. The man who rules his environment is not the one who thrashes wildly in rage, but the one who waits, studies, and strikes with precision. The Machiavellian mind knows that the world is nothing more than a board, and people are pieces. Some are pawns, some are knights, some are kings, but all of them are predictable. All of them can be moved, and all of them can be used. To detach from what you cannot control does not mean you abandon influence. It means you stop wasting energy on what is chaos, and instead sharpen your control over what is malleable. People, perception, timing, strategy. Understand this. Men are driven by desire, by fear, by ego. They reveal themselves in their words, their habits, their reactions. Most men are books left wide open, waiting to be read. You must read them. You must study their weaknesses with cold indifference, not to pity them, but to know exactly where to strike when the moment comes. The masses are blind to this. They move impulsively. They expose their hearts. They give away their leverage for free. But you, with detachment and calculation, will see the field clearly. You will understand that manipulation is not cruelty. It is survival. Influence is not deception, it is mastery. Every great ruler, every conqueror, every strategist understood this. Control perception, control outcomes. And perception is shaped by how you present yourself, how you time your actions, and how you use the weakness of others to your advantage. You do not need to be the strongest. You need to be the most strategic. When your enemies rage, stay calm. When your rivals boast, stay silent. When others move in haste, you move only when the field favors you. Cold patience is your blade. Precision is your crown. Fortune bends to those who calculate instead of react. This is why Machiavelli wrote not for the good, but for the effective. The effective man bends loyalty, bends morality, bends circumstances to his will because he sees reality without illusion. You must embrace this cold clarity. People are assets or obstacles, and both can be useful if you know how to handle them. Never show all your cards, never reveal your motives, never grant anyone full access to your inner world. Keep them guessing, keep them dependent, keep them beneath your command. This is not cruelty. It is the art of survival in a world that devours the weak and rewards the strategic. Comment this now. I calculate coldly. I move precisely. I rule silently. Number 7. Emotional warfare and the power of indifference. If you want to dominate the battlefield of life, you must understand one thing above all. Emotions are weapons. They can destroy, they can enslave, and they can also elevate, but only if you master them. The weak man is owned by his emotions. He gets angry and reveals his hand. He feels envy and betrays himself. He loves too openly and becomes a slave to those he loves. He fears and becomes predictable. But the Machiavellian mind does not play that game. The Machiavellian mind knows that emotions, if unchecked, are chains, and if mastered, are tools sharper than any blade. Think about it. How many wars, betrayals, downfalls, and collapses have been birthed not by logic, but by a moment of uncontrolled emotion? Kings have lost thrones over lust. Generals have lost armies over pride. Empires have fallen because men could not govern themselves. To rise above this, you must learn the art of indifference. Indifference is not weakness. It is the highest form of power. When insults slide off you, when betrayal doesn't shatter you, when loss does not reduce you to dust, you terrify the world. Why? Because they cannot reach you. They cannot manipulate you. They cannot provoke you into foolishness. You must train yourself to respond not with fire, but with ice. When others scream, you stay silent. When others rage, you study. When others fall apart, you remain whole. And in that silence, in that coldness, you gain an advantage greater than any weapon. They reveal themselves while you reveal nothing. But let's go deeper. Emotional warfare is not only about defense, it is also about offense. If you understand the emotions that control men, greed, fear, pride, lust, you can pull their strings without them ever realizing it. You can bait an enemy into exposing himself by feeding his arrogance. You can disarm a rival by making him feel important while you quietly weaken him. You can guide the masses by giving them illusions of hope, even as you steer them where you want. To do this, you must be both detached and observant. Watch how people react under pressure. Watch how they expose their desires. Watch how they betray themselves in small moments, and then file that knowledge away, ready to be used when the time is right. This is the cold beauty of indifference. When you no longer cling to your own emotions, you are free to weaponize the emotions of others. You stop being the puppet, and you become the puppeteer. Remember, the greatest power is not to destroy with violence. It is to bend without lifting a sword. Influence that comes from emotional control is influence that lasts, because people don't realize they are being led until it is too late. So ask yourself, are you controlled by your feelings, or do you control them? Are you a slave to love, hate, and fear, or are you the master who decides when and how they will serve you? This is the test that defines the untouchable. This is what separates rulers from pawns. If you want to embody Machiavelli's cold wisdom, you must become a fortress of indifference on the inside and a master manipulator of emotions on the outside. Comment this now. My emotions obey me. Others' emotions serve me. Number 8. The fortress of isolation and strategic alliance. The strongest men in history understood one thing with ruthless clarity. To be truly untouchable, you must become your own fortress. That does not mean living without allies, but it means never depending on them. Dependence is weakness. When you lean too heavily on another, you give them power over you, and the moment they withdraw, betray, or collapse, you collapse with them. A Machiavellian mind does not gamble survival on loyalty because loyalty is as fragile as circumstance. Men are loyal until it costs them. Women are loyal until they desire something greater. Friends are loyal until they fear something more than betraying you. If you build your strength on their loyalty, you have built your castle on sand. This is why the cold strategist builds his fortress within himself. He does not need constant validation. He does not need endless reassurance. And he does not beg for support. He is whole alone. But here is the paradox. The fortress is not meant to keep everyone out. It is meant to protect you from collapse if they leave. True strength is not isolation in the sense of total solitude. True strength is the ability to walk alone if necessary. And once you master this, you can finally choose allies, not from desperation, but from strategy. You must learn to see people not as extensions of yourself, but as assets. Some allies are useful for information. Some are useful for protection. Some are useful for influence. But none of them must ever become your lifeline. You can use their loyalty. You can even reward it. But you never depend on it. Machiavelli himself said, "It is safer to be feared than loved, but it is best to be both, if possible." Translate this into your own life. Build alliances. But let fear of losing you be stronger than their love for you. Make them feel the benefit of being near you, but also make them fear the cost of crossing you. This duality creates balance. They will think twice before betraying, but if they do, your fortress stands untouched. The masses cling desperately to their relationships, terrified of being alone. You, however, must train yourself to view solitude as power. The man who can stand alone commands respect because his presence does not beg. It demands. When you have no fear of being abandoned, people sense it, and paradoxically, they cling to you even tighter because they know you are the one who does not need them. This is the silent authority of the untouchable. When you are free from dependence, you are free from control. Build your inner fortress so high and so strong that betrayal, abandonment, or disappointment cannot breach it. Then, and only then, reach outward, not to need, but to command. This is how kings kept courts in order, how generals commanded armies, how rulers bent nations. They were surrounded by allies, but they were never owned by them. Do this, and you will never beg for loyalty. You will inspire it. You will never crumble from betrayal. You will anticipate it. You will never suffer from abandonment. You will stand unmoved. Comment this now. I am a fortress. Alliances serve me, but I need none. Number 9. The war of perception and the shadow of power. Power is not always about what is real. It is about what is believed. The Machiavellian mind knows that perception is the battlefield where most wars are won or lost before a single sword is drawn. Men do not follow reality. They follow what they perceive to be reality. They do not fear what is truly dangerous. They fear what appears dangerous. They do not respect who is truly strong. They respect who appears unbreakable. This is why you must master the art of perception as ruthlessly as you master the art of detachment. Understand this. Most people are blind. They do not see with clarity. They see with emotion. They are swayed by image, by rumor, by tone, by posture. This weakness is your weapon. To be untouchable, you must learn to shape what they see, what they hear, and what they believe about you. Never underestimate the shadow you cast. The shadow of power often outweighs the reality of power itself. A king who appears invincible may rule for decades, even if his armies are thin, because no one dares to test him. A man who appears indifferent to loss will be feared, even if inside he feels pain, because others assume he cannot be broken. A strategist who reveals nothing but calmness will be respected, even if chaos burns in his mind, because others will believe his silence hides strength. The perception of strength is strength itself. But the mistake of the weak is to believe they must prove themselves constantly, to display their emotions, to reveal their inner thoughts, to explain their every action. That is foolishness. You owe the world nothing but what you choose to show. To be untouchable, you must become selective with your image, controlled with your words, precise with your silence. Speak rarely, but when you do, let your words strike like steel. Act sparingly, but when you act, let it echo with consequence. Never let anyone fully understand you, because what is understood can be predicted, and what can be predicted can be controlled. Mystery is a fortress in itself. The less they know, the more they imagine, and what they imagine is always greater, darker, and more powerful than the truth. Feed this. Let rumors serve you. Let whispers of your strength, your coldness, your discipline grow beyond what is real, because belief will do the rest. Men will submit not only to your actions, but to the myth of your presence. But remember this, perception is a double-edged blade. If you allow weakness to be seen, if you expose too much vulnerability, the myth shatters, and once shattered, it is nearly impossible to rebuild. Guard your shadow as fiercely as you guard your fortress. Learn the art of indifference on the outside, even when the storm rages inside. Train your face, your posture, your tone to reveal nothing of weakness. Do not let love, anger, or despair expose you to the world. Keep them inside your fortress and show only what strengthens the myth. The man who rules perception rules reality itself, because reality for most is nothing more than belief. So, ask yourself now, do you live as another fragile man, bleeding his heart into the open, or do you live as a shadow of power, untouchable, unreadable, feared more than tested? That answer will define your place in this world. Comment this now. My shadow is power. Perception bends to my will. Number 10. Becoming untouchable. The final transformation. This is where it all converges. The detachment, the discipline, the mask, the indifference, the fortress, the shadow. Piece by piece, I have given you the weapons. But weapons mean nothing if you do not wield them with finality. To become untouchable is not simply to learn ideas, it is to embody them until they define you. It means waking up each day with the ruthless clarity that nothing outside your control deserves your energy, that every ounce of strength you have must be directed toward what is within your grasp, your mind, your actions, your strategy. The masses cling to illusions, dreaming of loyalty that lasts forever, of comfort without pain, of victories without sacrifice. But you, if you are to rise, must kill those illusions inside yourself. Detachment means you will walk away when others beg. Discipline means you will deny yourself when others indulge. The mask means you will conceal when others reveal. Indifference means you will stand still when others collapse. The fortress means you will not be destroyed when they abandon you. And perception means they will fear and respect you even before they understand why. This is the architecture of the untouchable mind, the Machiavellian mind, the mind that bends the world by refusing to be bent by it. But make no mistake, this path is not soft. It will not feel warm. It is cold, sharp, and merciless, because greatness demands that you become harder than the world itself. You will lose people. You will lose comforts. You will lose the illusions that once gave you false safety. Yet what you gain is far greater. You will gain yourself, purified, unchained, immune to the manipulations that enslave others. The man who cannot be manipulated is the man who cannot be broken. That is why this transformation terrifies the weak. They see in you what they can never become. They will call you cold. They will call you ruthless. They will call you heartless, because they do not understand that what you have done is not kill your humanity, but master it. You have taken the chaos of the world, the betrayals, the suffering, the storms, and forged them into armor. You have stepped beyond the fragile illusions of fairness and loyalty and stepped into the cold clarity of reality. You are not heartless. You are untouchable. And untouchable men command the future. Remember this always. Power is not given, it is taken. Respect is not requested, it is demanded. And survival is not offered, it is seized. You must live as if no man can wound you, no betrayal can shake you, no storm can drown you. Live as if you are already the fortress, already the shadow, already the master of yourself and the manipulator of others. And when you live this way, you do not chase power. Power comes to you. This is the essence of Machiavelli's cold wisdom. Fortune bends to those who do not beg from it, who do not cling to it, who do not fear its loss. You will stand where others fall, and you will rise where others break. This is your transformation into the untouchable. Comment this one last time. I am untouchable. Nothing owns me but myself. And if you are ready to walk deeper into this path of cold mastery, into the ruthless clarity of power, then like this video, subscribe to the Machiavellian Mind, and turn on notifications, because the world will not wait, and neither should you.